Hey folks, Mr. Tolly. I am working today with fabrics, not leather, no gun stuff. I'm going to be getting into some more tooling, and to that end I had my tools, my tooling tools, these kind of things, in a rack sitting on my workbench here, on my little rolling around workbench. And they're all well and good there, but when I get to working on stuff, I need to be able to get it out of my way, which I could move that whole rack, but where am I going to put it? To that end, I got this toolbox over here. And I'm putting all my leather working tools are going in there, and that's on wheels. It's easy to move. I can get it out of the way. I can grab it when I need it. It's going to, I think it's going to be a great asset to me. To that end, I'm going to make a tool roll to put these tools in. I'm making it 36 inches long. I will have it divided into approximately 1 inch wide sections to stick the tools into. I figure 1 inch. Some of them have wider handles on them than others, and regardless, 1 inch should be plenty big enough to hold any of the tools that I have. And I think it's a good number to start with. So we're going to do 1 inch slots, but to edge, canvas is a fabric that will fray really bad. So you'll get it. This is the same fabric that I use, and you can see how it's fraying here. And this is what I use to do all my burnishing too. It's the same fabric, and I have a boatload of it. So this is the piece that I've got cut. I've got it cut at 38 inches. I'm going to cut it back a little bit because I don't need 38 inches long, because I've changed the way that I was doing it. I was going to do a double rolled hem, and to do it with this canvas makes it really, really thick. And I don't know that my singer is going to punch through that. So I'm doing a binding on it instead of the double rolled hem. Yeah, so I'm making the binding as opposed to buying a binding. I'd have to go out all the way to the fabric store, which means driving 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes to find a fabric store that's got it. So I'm just making it. And I'm going to point you down at my ironing board and show you how I'm doing it. There are tools that help you do it, but I really don't use binding very often, not this type of binding. So I'm just going to show you how I'm making it, and you can go from there. Yeah, I'm working on the last piece. I do have some made already, and I decided, hey, I'll take you along for the ride. So I'm going to point you down at my ironing board, and I just have a little teeny ironing board in here, which kind of stinks for this operation, but we'll go from here. I'm just pressing it down. I'm using the iron, hot iron, and I'm just using that to press it down. I'm folding it in half and pressing it down. So I'm on the last couple feet here, and I'm just kind of taking it along, fold it in half, come along and press it. And you have to make sure you've got your iron and appropriate setting for the fabric. Stupid cord. And now that I've got my folded in half, what I want to do, and you'll probably not see this real well, but I'll open it up, and now we want to fold this each side into the center. So my half mark made a good mark for center, and we'll fold each side, will get folded into the center and pressed down. Let's get this, see if we can get this a little better. Zoom in a little. Okay, so we have our center is marked now by the seam lead, or the press line that we just made. So we're going to fold each side, will get folded in to the center and press down like so. Hope you can see that. And then once we do that, we'll fold it in half again and press that line again, and what we end up with is a piece like this. And when we go to put it on our canvas, let's see, get this. Our canvas will just go, it will just go around the edge of our canvas like this, and it'll get stitched down, and that canvas won't have the opportunity to fray on us like this side is. Alright, so we've got her all pressed down in half. We need to open it up, fold this to the center, and we'll do one side at a time. We'll just fold it into the center and press it down. So you can kind of press it with your finger a little bit, and that'll help hold it there while you get your iron going. And as you go, you just kind of don't go too fast, and your iron should keep up with it if you got your heat set right. But it is still very, very time consuming. And you don't want to get over that center press line, because that will flatten out that center press, and you don't want to do that. Because you need it. Now that I got my sides pressed in, I'm just going to fold it over in half again and give it another press down, making sure that I stay as even as possible. And keep it all closed up. And then it'll lay it out nice and flat, so when I go to put it on the canvas, it'll just go over there really nice. It did go along, and I clipped the threads that fray off on the inside there. Just kind of helps it to look a little cleaner when you go to sew it onto the canvas. This was the nastiest piece of canvas that I had too, by the way. It's kind of dirty. It was on the outside of my fabric. I keep it in a bag now, so it kind of stays a little cleaner. It's just been laying on a bench the whole time. Anyway, I decided that 3 inches was about right for putting my tools in. And I came up with that just by simply measuring the length of the tools, and that leaves me a little over an inch hanging out. Most of them 3 inches is going to be fine. So that's what how I came up with that measurement. So what I want to do is I want to put my ruler in right down to the bottom there. And we'll start on the end. And I want to come, use a little better ruler so I can see a little better. And I want to bring my top edge right up to 3 inches. And I'll start at the edge, keep my edge nice and straight, and I'm going to put a clip right down on the bottom so it kind of almost creases it a little bit. And then we'll do that again, down a little farther. And I'll just continue to do that all the way down. once I've got them all in, about every, 6 or 8 inches, I'll have a clip in there. Then I'm going to press it down so it stays. The canvas doesn't take a really good press, but it'll be good enough. Good enough to keep it in line anyway. So I'll put another one right down at the end right away. I'm just going to continue the rest of the way, get it all clipped. My next binding is going to go across, it's going to go hold this edge down as well, and it's going to go all the way around. If I will probably have to use 2 pieces, so I'll have to put 2 together, but I'll figure that out before I go and put it on, because I'm going to also stitch in a piece to be a tie. So I'll have something to tie around it all. And that I'll have to get ready. It's kind of have to do both of them at the same time. So I also have to stitch my 1-inch pockets in here as well. So that's all going to happen kind of all at the same time. I think once I get this done, I'll do the binding with the closure ties in it, and then I'll do the pockets. So I'm going to get all this set up, and you probably don't want to watch me do all that, but that's what I'm going to do right now, and then I'll get it pressed down. So here's one of those bits where I'm at the end, and all I do is just fold it over a little bit so it kind of looks a little cleaner at the end. And all I did was I marked where I needed my fold. So I got just a little pencil mark here, piece of 2-sided tape, and that is just to, well, if I can get it to peel apart, that's just to kind of hold it together while I get a clip or something on there. So I'm going to make my fold right at that line. Now this tape works really, really well with leather, but it's not the greatest with fabric because it's not made for fabric. But I'll make sure that we're at the end where I need to be. It looks like I got that just the right spot. Yep. And then I'll go ahead and I'll run the rest of my tape down the edge here. I'm going about every inch, and I'm marking for a stitch line. The reason I screwed up my lines is because my ruler, my blue ruler here that I'm using, I was using that straight on my granite and it was sliding on me. It was not staying put. So it's working much better on the cutting pad. I'm just going every inch. It was, excuse me, 34 3/8 long between the binding. So I'm going at an inch. It's going to leave me one space that's an inch and 3/8 at the end. And you never know, might have a need for a bigger space at one end. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Rather than, you know, try to get really super technical with my measurement. Because that always works out so well for me. Alright, I have all my sewing is done. Just got to put tools in it now. So, it's a little nicer day out today. It's got into the mid-20s. So, I've been running around doing all kinds of crap. So, now it's just a matter of putting tools in. This is one that I don't particularly care for. It's a tri-weave basket stamp. And I don't care for it. It's a craft tool. I think it's just the quality isn't there. Some of these, this is Hide Crafter. Got it from Springfield Leather. I like this one. And it's just this is a double rope basket stamp. I don't get into the real, there's a lot of fancy ones out there that you can get. And let's put this one here. This one, I haven't used this one yet. It's a little bit intimidating for me. I will try it one of these days and see how it goes. It's because it's curved, it's not straight, so it'll be a little more challenging for me. This, I don't even know what brand this one is. This is the one that I used on my belt, my personal belt. But I'm sure it's just some cheap. I think at one point, when I first started tooling, I bought a kit off of Amazon or eBay or something. But, so there's my basket stamps. They're all in one place. Now I can go and grab my bevelers. These are my two steep bevelers. And these were from Weaver. PB013 and a PB014. I like these quite a bit because they don't leave, when you're going around corners on bevels, or some bevels, you don't want a real wide bevel. You don't want it to come out too far from your pattern. So I kind of like these steep bevelers. They don't come out real wide. I have a few others here. This is a Craft Tool Pro B2045, and it's a wider one, but it's much shallower beveler. This one is just a Craft Tool 702, B702, and a B701. So one's just a smaller version. These have a all of these have a crosshatch pattern on them. But I do like the Craft Tool Pro one's not too bad. And it's a little bit bigger than the B702. So if you got a long run they're about the same angle on them. If you got a long run that you're trying to bevel, you want to use a little wider tool to do that. Alrighty folks, here it is. The tool roll is all filled up, all done. All that sewing. Some of these dividers, I had to do them a couple of times. Just because I think my machine is a little out of whack, a little out of time. So I'll have to play with that and look up how to set the timing on a 3115 and get it taken care of. But anyway, there it is. I should have put both ties on this end. I was thinking that it'd be nice to be able to roll it up either way. I should have just put them both on one end. I didn't. My bad. I will live with the consequences of that. This one's a little short. I could put a snap on here and it'd be okay. But anyway, that's how it is. It is what it is. I can always sew a little extra onto there and be good to go. But the intent of this tool roll was to be able to roll it out on my bench. It's wide enough that it fits on the bench. And I can open it up and access my tools. If I go ahead and see if this will work here. Fold this back. Just fold that flap back a little. It kind of elevates the front of the tool a little bit so that I can easily grab a tool, use it, and slide it back. Oh, excuse me, got a cold. It's that time of the year in Minnesota, the cold and flu season. Apparently this year everybody thinks if you got a cold you have COVID, so who knows. Got a little cold, scratchy throat. But there it is. I have my basket stamps, my bevelers, my pear shaders, my veiners, camouflage tools, cedars. Have my my swivel knife that I use the most is on the end here in my one pocket that I left bigger. So that's kind of it. We are ready to use it and do some tooling. I don't know how much tooling I'm going to show yet. I'm still pretty not good at it, so I'm learning yet. I'm working on it. But I'll probably show some tooling. I'm learning, but why not let you see some learning while I'm at it? Yeah. So that's it for the tool roll video. Hope you got something out of it. This, the basic tool roll can always be modified a little bit. You can modify the sizes of the pockets to suit you. Modify the size of the tool roll. You can make any size you want. It would be easy enough to add a whole nother row on here if you wanted to, so you could fold it, double the size of it and fold it in half and have 2 rolls of tools. You could modify the size of it and be able to slip a pocket knife in there and use it for a tool roll for your knife collection, which I may do one of those too. But yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what we do on this channel, go ahead and subscribe down below. Hit that like button if you liked the video. And thanks for hanging out with me and watching my video. I do appreciate that. So, with that being said, y'all stay safe. God bless. We'll catch you in the next one.